America's defense pact with Kuwait runs 10 years, and with U.S. help like this, someday Kuwait could stand up to Iraq on its own. Barry Peterson, CBS News, Kuwait.
You've been dieting with a very special day in mind, which could mean you're not getting your daily amount of protein, because many foods that provide protein are also high in fat, but not this one. Kellogg's Special K, the only cereal that's fat-free and a good source of protein. So make Special K part of your future plans and get into that dress you've been dying to wear. Kellogg's Special K. Get the protein, lose the fat.
At Red Lobster, it's going, and soon to be gone. Our full pound of shrimp special ends soon. Red Lobster knows you just can't get, enough shrimp. 10 grilled shrimp, 15 butterfly, 11 scampi. A full pound of our biggest and best shrimp. For a limited time, enjoy all this shrimp. There's so much, you may need a doggy bag.
Red Lobster for the seafood lover in you.
I used to take aspirin to relieve minor arthritis pain until my doctor told me one Advil is as effective as 2 regular aspirin and is gentler to my stomach. For my pain, I prefer Advil. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
Doctor.
Is it right for me?
Habitrol. It's a patch.
You know the patch?
Habitrol.
You know, Habitrol.
It's a patch.
Habitrol.
Habitrol.
Habitrol Nicotine Transdermal System, available by prescription only.
Thank you, Doctor.
I'm Charles Carroll. The worst human crisis in the world is the famine in Somalia, a story you should hear. We'll tell it this Sunday morning.
At his news conference today, President Bush charged that a Clinton victory would mean a return to the economic conditions of the Carter administration. Candidate Clinton shot back that the president has no credibility to criticize the economic performance of any president. So far, though, economic issues are clearly dominating this campaign, and Jim Stewart tonight has a report on that.
Resume should reflect the most positive and marketable you.
Like a nagging cold that won't go away, the recession looming over this election year has been like no other in recent memory.
The recession is different from previous recessions in many ways, but I think one that impresses people the most is the fact that there's a general awareness that jobs are being lost.
Lost as in lost forever, vanished. Like the thousands of cuts recently announced at Amoco and other oil companies, workers who can never reasonably expect to be called back by companies in the grips of fundamental change. Permanent reductions by the largest U.S. corporations jumped from 49,000 in 1990 to nearly 200,000 last year, and the trend is still up. Moreover, while white-collar layoffs made up just 20% of the last recession in 1982, this year they account for 40%.
What corporations are doing now is they're tremendously downsizing their core workforce, and they're replacing them with what I would call contingent workers.
Contingency is shorthand for temporary, a workforce that is paid less, given no medical or disability benefits, and is the first to be let go. And where are the jobs disappearing to?
Many firms just find that it's cheaper to do business elsewhere in the world. It's not the cost of labor, that's not really the issue these days, but the cost of capital and the cost of regulation.
As Bill Clinton and Al Gore take to the campaign trail, economists agree that one of the biggest tasks facing the ticket is to explain how they would take some of the pain out of the massive layoffs now taking place in American businesses.
There are many important roles for government. One is around the questions of education and training. We have to do something for the 70% of our labor force that is not college educated.
And unemployment numbers suggest do something as well for a white-collar workforce whose future is shakier than ever.
Inside sales engineer.
Jim Stewart, CBS News, Washington.
All but overlooked because of the recent trouble in the Yugoslavian civil war is the fact that the new Israeli Prime Minister, Yitzhak Rabin, is going to meet with President Bush next week in a session that could have far-reaching implications on U.S.-Israeli relations and the quest for Middle East peace. It's our Washington notebook for tonight. The U.S.-Israeli summit. Is the fighting finally over with our closest ally in the Middle East?
Hello, Mr. Rabin.
It is the new Prime Minister's first visit here since taking office. Both sides see it as a time for fence mending, and on both sides of the fence, the mood is upbeat.
I think they'll do quite well. I think they'll do well both because they know each other.
They like each other, and in some respects they need each other.
What Israel needs is $10 billion in loan guarantees to help provide homes for some 400,000 Jews who have poured into Israel following the breakup of the former Soviet Union.
I think we're pretty close to seeing the basis for an agreement on the loan guarantees, which will immediately improve the relationship.
The White House has refused to approve the guarantees, furious because Rabin's predecessor, Yitzhak Shamir, had insisted on accelerating the building of new communities in the occupied territories, a policy which angered local Palestinians and brought the peace process to a halt. But Rabin this week reversed that policy and for now says no new settlements will be built. With that, both Democrats and Republicans on Capitol Hill began urging the president to respond in kind and grant the loan guarantees.
Now that there is a new government in Israel that has promised to greatly curtail settlements, there should be nothing that stands in the way of these loan guarantees.
I think it will help. It just would have helped a lot more had we done it without all the fanfare a year ago.
What George Bush